Hey, how y'all feeling about Derek Queen, huh? How y'all feeling about Derek Queen? 30, 10, and 10. What are we talking about, man? What are we talking about? I know we didn't get the win. I know he missed the game-tying shot. He's a rookie. I'm going to deal with it. Like 30 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds, 4 blocks. Never been done before in the NBA by a rookie. That is one of the most fun games I have had since Zion came in his rookie year off of injury and hit those threes out of nowhere. That was such a fun game to watch them come back, to watch Derek Queen cook, to throw up some insane shots, and they go in. That was so much fun. My name is JP. This is Pelicans Daily, presented by FanArch, your one-stop shop for all things Pelicans all the time. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let's get hype. Listen, I know we didn't get the victory. I know we still only have 2 or 3 wins, but let's have fun. This was such a fun game. This is one of those games that when you trade a first-round pick in the next year's draft, this is one of the games you have to see, you need to see, you want to see. Everything you need this type of game from a rookie that you gave up draft picks for. You need to see that type of game. And what a game. Not only by Derek Queen, Trey Murphy played incredibly well too. I'm never going to undersell what he does on the basketball court. But, I mean, how can we not just talk about Derek Queen for a minute? This is the guy. This is the guy that you start to build your team around. There was a game in the fourth quarter last night. I don't know if you remember it. I'll try to draw it back from your memories. Last night, Derek Queen was at the top of the key, and he was just sitting at, right on top of the key with the ball, and Saddiq Bey and Trey Murphy and Jeremiah Fears, everybody was doing motions all around him, looking, because he has such a good basketball IQ, because he has such a good basketball vision. They were just waiting. They were moving off the ball to really and make plays available. Obviously, that was when Trey got the lob and got fouled underneath and made the shots after. But there is so much more basketball that you can, offensively, that you can do. There's so many more sets. There's so many more plays. There's so many more things that you can run when you have a big like Derek Queen who can pass the ball, who can get his own, who can rebound. It was amazing to see. It really was. It really was. And not only did he shoot the ball really well, really, really efficiently, but also he didn't have a ton of turnovers. Obviously, there's a couple not great ones. There was one underneath the basket to Saddiq Bey that didn't work out. He was kind of over-anticipating him. There are some other ones here and there, but what a game. What a game. That is what we have to focus on as Pelicans fans this season. We have to focus on the good that our guys are doing. And in my mind, I think Derek Queen just took a huge leap in the rookie standings. Like, I almost went on FanDuel last night, DraftKings, and looked up what his future rookie of the year would be, because a performance like that, people are going to call back on when everything gets really close at the end of the year, when all the rookie of the year candidates kind of come up. They'll be like, but do you remember this game from Derek Queen? As long as he continues to have really high averages, be really dynamic, and get a lot of playing time, how can you not put him at the very front of the rookie of the year race? What a game. I mean, what an absolute performance. He's making Joe Dumars look not as foolish as a lot of the NBA people thought he was. And also came out, if you remember, that Joe Dumars was calling everybody from pick 9 all the way down to pick 13, where he ultimately ended up getting a deal done to draft Derek Queen. I mean, you come away from this game and you are pumped. I'm excited. I am so excited for the way that he has played, for the way, like I know yesterday I talked a lot about consistency, and I do want to see more consistency from Derek Queen. That has not changed. And this is an unrealistic standard. You're not going to average 30, 10, and 10. If he does, we have a much different conversation. It's a good conversation, but a much different conversation going forward. And specifically with like Derek Queen and those things as well, is like you want him to be he's shown you he can do this. Can he be a 25 7-5 guy? Can he be a 25, 5-5, a 23? What do his stats look like? What do they look like? Can he even get an All-Star appearance as a rookie? Obviously he's putting up good stats on a relatively bad team, but he's doing it as a rookie. Who knows? I don't know. But I know is that I am excited to continue to watch Derek Queen be that guy. I think the late game shots, like if he would have made that shot to end the game to put us up, like that would have been almost too good. Like I don't know how I would have come on here and contained myself. What an absolutely awesome basketball player. What an awesome night for New Orleans fans. Like, even though the crowd was really small in the Smoothie King Center, it was still really loud. It was still really loud. Everybody was really pumped, and everybody was excited to see what was happening, to see. Even late game, you could hear it on the broadcast with, AD and Joel. Like, you could hear how loud it was, even though there wasn't a ton of people, in the stadium itself. It was awesome. It was awesome to finally get a peek back into what New Orleans Pelicans basketball can be if we have good players that buy in. And I think I've talked about it a little bit. I'm going to talk about it now and more here now, is that I think this game is indicative of the fact that the Pelicans timeline has reset. And if you disagreed with it here relatively recently, I totally understand that. But now, like, you've seen your rookie can be that guy. You've seen that not only Derek Queen, I'm not going to get away from Jeremiah Fears, because Jeremiah Fears obviously didn't have the best night statistically last night, but he's still showing a ton of flashes. And if your 1 and your 5 can be on the same page and play really, really good basketball together, that helps you a lot in terms of like building, and obviously their salaries, the contract stuff like that. That helps you a ton going forward. But I think the timeline has officially been reset. We've talked about it the past couple weeks. I don't mean to keep harping on it, but I think that we have to. The timeline is now. It is time to get rid of all the pieces that don't match up with the development of Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears. And some of y'all let me know that down below. Some of y'all have said, forget your feelings about Herb, trade him. Forget your feelings about Trey, trade him. Like, it is time to go full rebuild, but you have a leg up almost, simply because of how good it seemingly Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears are. It's time. The timeline has reset. We're no longer looking at a championship window next year. You're looking at making the playoffs next year, potentially make the full playoffs in 2 years, maybe 3 years, whatever it is. Like, that timeline has reset, and our front office and our team as a whole, especially with ownership and Gail Benson, like, it is time to appropriately take the steps to make this something that people want to people want to root for. It is officially time to move on, to say this is our new window. See a Zion, see a Herb, see a Jordan Poole. You can obviously keep some of these guys that have really, really good contracts. Like, I know a bunch of people have also been calling about Jose. I think Jose is a guy that you keep from a culture standpoint, help Jeremiah. If there's some stuff that goes on long term, that maybe there's an injury pops up, I think he's a guy that can plug and play for a pretty good while. We've seen it throughout his career. I think he's a guy that you keep. And I just am really now convicted more than ever. I know we didn't get a win. I know some people are going to come at me for saying, like, why are we celebrating a loss? You're not celebrating a loss. You're not dancing on the grave of days gone by. What you're doing is saying, we as a team can now put a lot of chips in, put a lot of eggs in one basket, that being this rookie class, and move from here. And that's not disparaging Zion. That's not disparaging Herb or Trey or anybody else that has come before Derek Queen, Jeremiah Fears. But it is saying, like, hey, we're good. Now, there's a really popular clip of Colin Cowherd, which, don't get me started, but he's like, hey, LeBron, you can retire. We've got Ben Simmons now. And that's a take that aged terribly. And hopefully this one doesn't age terribly as well. But it's like, I think that we're good. Like, hey, Zion, we're good. We can move on. You're good. Joe Dumars has the green light to get rid of who he needs to build this team around Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears. And I'm really excited to see where this goes, to see how we develop, to see who we add, maybe closer to the trade deadline, whatever it is. I'm really, really excited. Now, with this type of game, I think the team could be, the front office and ownership and everybody in between could be even more motivated to make something like that happen. But one of the things about last night that everybody is going to start to question and ask When you're a rookie, we see it all the time. They have a really, really good performance. Maybe a team has a really, really good performance, and they kind of drop off a cliff because there's that really, really high, especially in like the game after. So there could be like this drop off, this really weird falling off a cliff. Maybe Derek Queen only has like 10, 2 and 2 or something like that. He gets into foul trouble, maybe isn't as aggressive as he needed to be, whatever it is. Like maybe all of a sudden like he has a little bit of a drop off for 1 or 2 games, but it comes back. I think that's my biggest question is how repeatable is this? I'm ready to go full in on Derek Queen. Don't mistake what I'm saying here for, oh, I'm hesitant to invest in him. No. I'm ready to invest fully in the Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears experience. The question we have to ask is, how repeatable is this? Can we continuously put him in offensive action and make it to where we're really, really competitive while he and, whether it's Jeremiah Fears or Trey or, it are the center focal points of the offense? It's a really, really good question. It's a question that our front office is going to have to ask and we have to figure out. But I think that the question you ultimately come up to is, are these performances repeatable, or are they just like a flash in the pan? We've seen rookies have incredibly productive rookie years, and then their sophomore year, junior year, senior year just kind of fall off of cliff. I think one of the uh, most famous instances is like the Michael Carter Williams, right? To a lesser extent, there's been a couple of other guys that kind of come to mind that also fall in there, but there's been some injuries and stuff like that have come up. But I think that the Pelicans should look to, okay, now that we know this guy can be the guy that we can put him in action, he can be the main facilitator. Jeremiah Fears can be the even a little bit off ball guy, just a little bit. Like, can this be something that we pull out of him on a night to night basis? And I think that's what Coach Borrego really needs to focus on in this upcoming game. Of, okay, we've seen it happen once. We're gonna put you in as many actions as we possibly can going forward to see what you're made of. So next game, the next game that we have, are we able to see the same type of production from an offensive standpoint, not from a Derek Queen gets all these awesome stats, but from an offensive standpoint, are we able to score a bunch of points to keep up with him being in the main facilitator role, the main action role, surrounded by shooters and what have you? I think that's a really good question. It's one that I hope Borrego really implores from Derek Queen, that the game plan really revolves around. Maybe Joe Dumars makes a call. Maybe he says, hey, we need to see if this guy's legit, if it's real. Is this something that we continue to build upon going forward? And I think that is a fantastic way to go about it. James Borrego is a good offensive coach, and I think that he will make the necessary adjustments to see, because I think there's a lot of question marks more or less there for New Orleans and for if this is repeatable. But for this to be repeatable, people have to make shots. Derek Queen has to be aggressive. It's one of the things that I think many people in the basketball world have kind of questioned from him is this a guy that is going to go out and get it? Because he has like sort of like a Herb Jones type demeanor where he is fun to root for and those type of things, but sometimes it can seem like he's not the biggest extrovert. There's certainly some things where he's a rookie and he's young and stuff like that too, but sometimes like I wonder if is the biggest extrovert. Can we get him to a place where he's constantly aggressive, he's constantly fighting, he's looking for looks for himself and then looks for others? Like, can we get him to a point where that is one of his main focuses? And I think that he can be that guy. He showed it last night. And so the biggest question is this type of performance, not the 30, 10, and 10, but how he played last night as far as facilitating, being the main initiator, is that a repeatable game plan? I'm really excited to see that within the next couple of games. And I think that it will prove, and really, if he does do really well in the next couple of games in that role, I think the floodgates open and we start seeing trades happen really quick. I'll just be as honest as I can be. Too many teams are calling about Trey, Zion, and Herb for us to stay kind of where we're at. Herb played pretty good last night. It was good to see him. He looked like the defender that we have all come accustomed to seeing and knowing play in the New Orleans jersey. So that was really good to see. Hopefully, maybe if there are convicted to trade him, that his trade stock went up just a little bit more last night. We'll see what happens. Last night, the last thing that I want to touch on from the game was this. I really, really loved seeing how, and I talked a little bit about it in the first segment, but I love seeing how offensively, we were so much better. We were so much better because it wasn't just a stop and stand. It was, okay, I know that this player who is initiating the offense, he can get me the ball if I work hard for it. And if I work hard for it, we could potentially win. He could potentially score. And that seems like a really low, limited thing. But if you'll look back at games where Zion is the main initiator, Zion is, I'll say this, his handle is a lot looser and he gets a lot of fouls. Don't get me wrong, like I understand that. But his handle is a lot looser than some people really understand, and they attack it, and his passing is not anywhere near as good as Derek Queen. So there has been a lot of everybody's just going to sit and stare at Zion to see what happens. But with Derek Queen, I mean, I'm going to reference the same thing that I just talked about earlier with the play with Trey Murphy. It's like everybody's moving around it because they want the looks, they want the finishes at the rim, they want the threes because they can get it to him. I mean, last night to get his assist, they ran a ghost, not necessarily a ghost motion, but it was a double screen across the court pass to Trey Murphy in the corner for the three. And it's like, that is such a good pass in general. It's a hard pass. It's a good pass in general, but it's a great pass for a big man, a center, to be able to make. And especially, some people might not have been exactly expecting it, so there's a little bit there where it's like, oh, maybe, benefit of the doubt. But dude, that is such a good pass to see. And so from his perspective, from the team's perspective, this was such a good offensive night for James Borrego, as well as the game plan that he put in, the team kind of around him being invested and buying into, hey, you know what? This is what it's called for. This is how Derek Queen can get me the ball. This is how our offense is going to run. Trey's still going to get his threes. Jeremiah Fears missed a lot of layups kind of close to the basket. I think outside of Derek Queen, he had the best move of the night, just kind of missed the finish a little bit in the first half. It was really an impressive drive to see. But I think that overall, from a offensive perspective, there was so much to like about last night. From little play designs to one-on-one actions to sideline out of bounds actions, underneath out of bounds actions, just trying everything to get the ball into one of your better playmakers, that is Derek Queen, which is fantastic to see. And it was probably the best display of offense that I have seen in New Orleans in several years. I know that you guys and girls feel the same way, that our offense has been awful at times. It's been good sometimes, but, and again, it kind of goes back to my last point of being repeatable. Can this be a place where week in and week out, game in and game out, we get this same level, not necessarily of execution of every shot going down, but it still looks good. We're getting open looks. We're getting open players. They just have to hit the shots that they're paid millions of dollars to make, right? It was such a fun game to watch, and I hope that you really, really enjoyed it, because I did. And I'm hoping for a ton more Derek Queen. I'm hoping for a ton more Jeremiah Fears games like this, that they, from their rookie years, they step on the court, they announce themselves, they are the new best rookie duo in the NBA, that they are dominant, that they continue to establish themselves as high-level NBA players, and it's going to be absolutely awesome to see. And if you want to see more, make sure that you keep up to date with everything going on in New Orleans with the New Orleans Pelicans. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let's talk more about the game. I could talk about it, and I will talk about it over and over and over again. Drop a follow, subscribe, like, and those type of things. It always helps the channel grow, helps us get more reach to more Pelicans fans. It's really been a fun couple days so far. Just being a part of this. I love being able to interact with everybody here. I know I keep saying that, but it's true. I love it. I love talking with fellow Pelicans fans about my favorite team, about Pelicans basketball. My name is JP. This is Pelicans Daily, presented by FanArch. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the comments. Peace.